There is a brutal truth about human nature that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. People rarely respect what feels easy to keep. They respect what feels difficult to replace, what feels costly to lose, what feels just out of reach. And if people in your life keep interrupting you, canceling on you, using your time, crossing your boundaries, and treating your presence like it is guaranteed, then you need to face something uncomfortable. You may have trained them to. Not with words, with patterns, with the late-night replies, with the instant forgiveness, with the endless availability, with the way you keep showing up even after they disappoint you. You thought that made you loyal. But to a careless world, it often just makes you predictable. And what is predictable becomes familiar. What is familiar becomes common. And what is common is rarely respected. That is the dark psychology of value. Not manipulation, not cruelty, not games. Just one cold truth: the world places a higher price on what it cannot easily own. Welcome to the Psychology IQ Network. If you want people to respect you more, stop asking how to look more valuable. Start asking why your value has become so easy to ignore. Because this is where it starts. Most people are taught a dangerous lie. They are told that if they are kind enough, patient enough, humble enough, useful enough, then respect will naturally follow. But that is not how human behavior works. Kindness without limits does not always look noble. Sometimes it looks weak. Patience without standards does not always look mature. Sometimes it looks like fear. And availability without restraint does not make people cherish you. It makes them lazy with you. When something is always there, people stop noticing it. They assume it will still be there tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. That is exactly what happens when your time, your attention, your emotional energy, and your forgiveness are handed out too freely. If you always answer, they stop respecting your time. If you always say yes, they stop valuing your presence. If you always stay, they stop fearing your absence. If you always forgive, they stop taking your hurt seriously. And this is how disrespect grows. Not always through hatred, through certainty. Certainty that no matter what they do, you will still be there. That certainty is what destroys your leverage. Because the moment someone believes they cannot lose you, they stop handling you with care. That is why some of the nicest people get treated the worst. Because they are not setting a standard. They are offering unlimited access. And unlimited access kills mystery, kills tension, kills consequence. In the end, it kills respect. So here is the first rule of value: close the door. Right now, too many people are living with the emotional door wide open. Anyone can walk in. Anyone can interrupt their peace. Anyone can demand their time. Anyone can disappear and reappear. Anyone can waste their energy and still be welcomed back in like nothing happened. And then they wonder why nobody treats them carefully. Why would they? There is no cost for carelessness. So close the door. Stop answering everything immediately. Stop treating every request like an emergency. Stop making yourself easy to reach, easy to read, and easy to recover. Because once people know your attention is automatic, it loses all weight. Scarcity creates weight. And weight creates value. This is what weak people never understand about boundaries. They think boundaries drive people away. No. Boundaries expose who was only comfortable with the version of you that had none. Healthy people respect limits. Users resent them. Remember that. The second rule is even more important. Stop auditioning for approval. Too many people walk into every room with the same silent question. Do they like me? Do I seem interesting? Am I enough for them? Did I say the right thing? Did I make a good impression? That mindset destroys power before the conversation even begins. Because it puts the other person above you. You start performing, explaining, smiling too much, agreeing too quickly, softening yourself just to feel accepted. That is not confidence. That is submission in a polished outfit. The moment you start needing approval, people can feel it. And neediness lowers perceived value faster than almost anything else. So flip the frame. Walk into every interaction with a different question. Do I like them? Do they have discipline? Do they have self-respect? Do they keep their word? Do they deserve access to me? That shift is everything. Because now you are not the one begging to be chosen. You are the one observing, assessing, deciding. And once your energy changes, people feel it instantly. Your posture changes, your voice slows down, your face relaxes, your presence becomes heavier. Because now you are not trying to win the room, you are deciding whether the room deserves you at all. That is where real value begins. Third, speak less, mean more. Cheap energy is noisy. It overshares, over-explains, over-talks, over-apologizes. It cannot survive silence, so it fills every gap with unnecessary words. But the more you explain yourself, the more ordinary you become. The more available your thoughts are, the less weight they carry. There is a reason calm people seem more powerful. There is a reason people who do not rush to talk often feel more dangerous. Restraint creates presence. When you speak less, people pay more attention. When you do not reveal everything, people lean in. When you are comfortable in silence, people stop feeling they have easy access to your mind. And difficult access creates perceived depth. You do not need to narrate your every feeling. You do not need to explain every boundary. You do not need to defend every no like you are on trial. Sometimes power is just a clean sentence. That won't work for me, I'm not available, I'm leaving. No. No extra performance, no emotional begging, no speech, just clarity. And clarity is intimidating to people who survive by testing limits. Fourth, never reward disrespect with continued access. This is where most people completely destroy their own value. They say they want respect, but when someone lies to them, they stay. When someone wastes their time, they stay. When someone uses them, they stay. When someone crosses the line, they complain and then stay. That teaches one thing. There is no real consequence for mishandling me. And if there is no consequence, there is no reason for the behavior to change. Listen carefully. People only take your boundaries seriously when violating them costs them something. Not your anger, not your long emotional speeches, not your pain, your reduced access, less availability, less trust, less warmth, less time, less presence. The problem with most people is that they want to be understood more than they want to be respected. So they explain, and explain, and explain. But people who benefit from crossing your boundaries do not need more explanation. They need less access. The moment your energy changes, reality changes. Because now they can feel the distance. Now they can feel the missing warmth, the missing effort, the missing presence they used to take for granted. And that is when value becomes visible. Not when you begged them to see it, when they had to live without it. Fifth, control your reactions, or other people will control them for you. Emotionally reactive people are easy to move. A delayed reply ruins their whole day. A cold tone sends them into anxiety. A passive-aggressive comment keeps them awake at night. One small shift in behavior and suddenly their peace is gone. That makes you easy to manipulate. Because once someone knows they can affect your emotional state on command, they own too much of your inner world. You must become harder to shake. Not emotionless, not cold, just governed. Still. Measured. In control. When other people get loud, lower your voice. When they become reactive, slow down. When they try to bait you, give them nothing impulsive to work with. Because calm people are harder to dominate. And that calm sends a message, you do not control my center. That message changes the entire dynamic. People respect emotional self-command because most people do not have it. Sixth, build a life that does not revolve around being chosen. This is where value becomes real. Because if your life has no direction, no structure, no obsession, no mission, then of course you become overly focused on other people. You wait for messages, wait for invitations, wait for attention, wait to be picked. That is a dangerous way to live. Because the more empty your life feels, the more power other people have over your emotions. You need a mission. Something bigger than validation, bigger than dating, bigger than approval, bigger than social drama. A craft, a business, a goal, a body to build, a skill to master, a life to create. Because once your time belongs to something meaningful, you stop giving so much of it away to people who have not earned it. And that changes your value instantly. Not because you are pretending to be important, because now you actually are occupied with something that matters. Purpose creates gravity. People feel that. They feel when your life is moving somewhere. They feel when you are no longer standing around emotionally available for nonsense. And when they feel that, they start treating your time differently. Because now they know it is attached to something real. Finally, here is the hardest law of all. You must be willing to lose people. Not out of ego, not out of pride, out of self-respect. Because the person who cannot walk away will always be handled carelessly. The person terrified of loss is the easiest to control. They tolerate more, excuse more, beg more, explain more, forgive more, endure more. And every time they do, they lose a little more of themselves. The truth is brutal. Some people only start respecting you when they realize they can actually lose access to you. Not when you threaten, not when you argue, not when you ask nicely, when you genuinely detach. When you stop chasing, stop proving, stop waiting, stop negotiating against your own dignity. That is when the dynamic shifts. Because now your presence is no longer guaranteed. It has become conditional. And conditional access creates respect in a way constant access never can. So if people have been treating you lightly, stop asking, how do I force them to respect me? Ask something colder, something deeper. What in me has made disrespect feel safe? Your over-availability? Your fear of conflict? Your one-sided loyalty? Your instant forgiveness? Your inability to leave? Your habit of over-explaining to people who already know exactly what they are doing? That is where your answer is. And that is where your power is buried. Because in the end, value is not what you say you deserve. Value is what your behavior proves you protect. The world does not listen to your self-worth speeches. It watches what you tolerate, what you permit, what you keep rewarding, what you keep allowing near you. That is the real price tag. So raise it. Become harder to access, harder to read, harder to misuse, harder to replace. Not by becoming fake, by becoming disciplined, not by becoming cruel, by becoming clear, not by begging for respect, by becoming someone whose absence is expensive. That is the dark psychology of value. If this hit you, type, "My value is not cheap." Subscribe to the Psychology IQ Network. Because once you understand how value works, you stop chasing attention and start becoming unforgettable.